بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. Assalamu alaikum, my beloved ones, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Khushali Mubarak to all of you. Eid Mubarak, Khushali Mubarak on this great day, day of Eid al-Zahra, salamullah alayhi, the day of Eid al-Zahra, salamullah alayhi. So people, they ask me, why do you celebrate Eid al-Zahra, salamullah alayhi? There's nothing confirmed on Eid al-Zahra, salamullah alayhi. Like if you look at the narration of those many people, they say, oh, because someone, some enemy of Fatima al-Zahra, salamullah alayha, was killed this day. That is not proven. It was in this day or because it was other day. But those people who claim this kind of argument, they do not have supportive evidences that it was this day. There's another argument that the heads were brought to Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salatu wasalam of Umar ibn Sa'ad. So I'm going to mention these narrations that فَبَعْثَ Mukhtar, after he took the retaliation for the martyrs of Karbala, salamullahi alayhim, he sent فَبَعْثَ رَأْسُ عُبَيدِ اللَّهِ إِلَى عَلِي ibn al-Husayn. He sent the head of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, la'natullahi alayhi, to Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. فَأُدْخِلَ عَلَيْهِ. So when the heads were presented to him, وَهُوَ يَتَغَدَّى. Now some people, they say it was breakfast, nashta, this and that. This narration mentions clearly that when the heads arrived, he was eating his lunch. فَسَجَدَ شُكْرًا. He went into prostration of thanksgiving, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said that, Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, الَّذِي أَدْرَكَ لِي ثَأْرِي مِنْ عَدُوِّي, the one who gave me this opportunity to see the retaliation that I have reached this time to see the retaliation from my enemy. And he praised Mukhtar with this dua, وَجَزَ اللَّهُ الْمُخْتَارِ خَيْرًا. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward Mukhtar with the best, with the goods. Excuse me. So Imam Zainul Abidin says, أُدْخِلْتُ عَلَى عُبَيْدِ اللَّهِ ibn Ziyad. When Imam Zainul Abidin was taken from Karbala to Kufa, he was entered to Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad's majlis. Okay? أُدْخِلْتُ عَلَى عُبَيْدُلlah ibn Ziyad وَهُوَ يَتَغَدَّى. And he was having his lunch as well. وَرَأْسُ أَبِي بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. And the head of my father was in front of him. So Imam says that فَقُلْتُ, I did this dua, oh Allah, do not let me die until I see the head of Ibn Ziyad. Allahumma la tumitni hatta turiyani ra's ibn Ziyad. Okay? And then after that, Imam Zainul Abidin, this was the glad day for Imam Zainul Abidin, the happiest day for Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salatu wasalam, to see these wicked people, evil people go to hellfire. And so based on that, he distributed wealth among his family, like EID. You know, EID, we in the happiness, glad days, we give EIDs. Was Shi'ati and the followers in Makkah and Medina, his followers, from the descendants of the migrants and the inhabitants of Medina, Muhajirin wal Ansar. It has been narrated from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. So that is the main reason which is associated with Eid al-Zahra, the gladness of our A'imma alayhi salam. There are three narrations which echo this. And Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq alayhi salam, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam said, أنه قال مكتحلت هاشمية. Hashemites stopped, like after the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, they never did mascara on their eyes. You know, eye mascara, kuhul. Excuse me. Kahal, not kuhul, sorry, kahal. The eye mascara. That was sign of gladness. Whenever they would go to marriage, obviously among the ladies themselves, they would wear this veil, so no foreign men could watch them having this mascara. Tomorrow you cannot say, oh, Sheikh said that mascara, Bani Hashim women were wearing mascara, but they were not wearing the hijab like the way we wear nowadays. They were wearing hijab, a veil. So no foreign men could see their mascara or their makeup or whatever. وَلَا اخْتَضَبَتْ, and they never did, after the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, they never did henna or hand paint. وَلَا رُؤْيَ فِي دَارِ هَاشِمٍ دُخَانٍ, and the Hashemites, the family of Bani Hashim, they were in so deep grief. None of the Imams alayhi salatu wasalam was grieved the way Imam Hussein was grieved. For 5 years, 5 years, their houses could not see the smoke. The smoke of what? Cooking. So they were so busy in grief, and they did not have any desire to eat. So the neighbors would bring them food. The neighbors would bring them cooked food and support them. But they would not. They would eat very rarely. Especially Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, you know that he would mix his tears with food and water. وَلَا رُؤْيَ فِي دَارِ هَاشِمٍ دُخَانٍ. The smoke was not seen, because when you cook those days, the smoke will come out of chimney. Okay, it was not seen. حتى قتل عبيد الله بن زياد, until Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad was killed. Then the Hashimiyat, remember this, then the Hashimiyat, they removed their expressions of grief, because somebody brought certain gladness to their heart, and that was Mukhtar. Okay, and who were these Hashimiyat? Many of them were daughters of Zahra and granddaughters of Zahra salamullah alayha. So these they remove their grief. You see, on 9 Rabi', the Mu'mineen, they take their clothing of grief, black clothing, the grief, they stop it here. And that's one of the points I'm going to mention. Okay. Oh, and then similarly, there are several narrations, even Fatima, daughter of Imam Ali alayhi salatu salam. Bottom line is that this is the strongest event which is associated by Eid al-Zahra salamullah al-Rabi'. Even though there is no strong record or date mentioning that these heads were brought to Imam Zainul Abidin on the day of Eid al-Zahra, or Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad was killed on Eid al-Zahra, 9th Rabi'. Somehow, this is the most obvious things, that Umar ibn Sa'ad's head, or Harmala's head, or Ubaidullah ibn, because these heads were not brought once. This was brought, then Harmala's head was brought. So someone's head was brought on the day of 9th Rabi'ah. Be it maybe this event, it doesn't mention the date, when was it brought. So this may be strongly the date, because the historical context and the lifestyle of the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, that context indicate that this was the day when Imam became glad. When Imam became glad, okay, he prayed shukran lillah, prostration, obviously not so glad because he continued the grief for the until the entire days of his life. But Hashimiyat, some of the Hashimiyat, they did not live. Bibi Zainab salamullah alayhi did not live 5 years to see this day, or neither Ummul Baneen, neither some of those. So many of them, they could not survive. Those who saw Karbala with their own eyes, only Sayyidah Sukaina, the old elder daughter of Imam Hussein, she survived, because the Ruqayya, which the Indo-Pakistani community is called Sukaina, she was martyred in the prison of Sham. But the Sukaina survived, the elder Sukaina, okay? The elder Sukaina and the younger Sukaina. The younger Sukaina, Pakistanis, they call Ruqayya Sukaina. So we say, okay, no problem. She was giving tranquility to the heart of Imam Hussein. Let's carry on with it. Let's not argue on this Sukaina, Ruqayya things and right and wrong. Khalas, finish. So the bottom line is that most of these who saw Karbala, who saw the tragedy of Karbala with their own eyes, would not survive. Very few survived. But when they came back to Medina, this is another point to celebrate, because these days they came back to their hometown. Yes, they were in grief, but yet they were relieved from the humiliation and the humility and the torture of all these in the prison of Sham. So finally they came back home in these days. And that could be that is Arabia. So the Fatimiyat were relieved this day, the daughter of Fatima al-Zahra. So this is also one of the greatest means of celebration, that finally they were relieved. And after 5 years, the heads of those people were presented, most probably on this day. So these are most important things. Now, for me, people, they ask you why. Okay, these are all there are various reasons people can discuss and argue. The bottom line is one. The focus will be on this bottom line, be it their arrival to Medina, be it the heads were presented on this day, be it whatever reasons. One thing is for sure, that I have not seen the Shias around the world, those who love Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayhi. This is the miraculous point I'm mentioning for those who reflect and ponder. Okay, I have not seen like that kind of attachment to Fatima al-Zahra, and the love to Fatima al-Zahra, the expression to Fatima al-Zahra, and denouncing the enemy and distancing ourselves from the enemies of Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayhi, the way I have seen on this day. How did it happen? If the reasons are questionable, debatable, arguable, some they believe this, and so why? What makes it so strong? None but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is a wisdom of Allah. One of the wisdoms, one of my mentors mentioned that if this day Eid al-Zahra does not encounter, then the Shias would continue to grieve the entire year. And look at this miraculous point. Like the way, like Fatima Zahra Salamullah alayha tells us, enough Shias, enough my beloved ones. You grieved a lot. You grieved 2 months, you grieved Arba'een. Khalas, live on your lives. She's our merciful mother, Salamullah alayha. Okay? So she doesn't want the Shias to continue grieving, grieving, grieving the whole year. Though Shias would not have mind if this stop would not come. The true Shias would continue. But no, this is a break. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like in every ibadah, there is a, like after Hajj, there's Eid. After holy month of Ramadan, striving for 30 days, fasting, there's a relief, Eid, celebration. The same thing when we come after 40 days of grief or 2 months of grief, this is the day of relief, and this is especially for those who love Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha. If it was so popular, others would have celebrated. No, this is not for everybody. This is for you, and not for every Shia. Sorry, not for every Shia. Those Shias, specifically those who love Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha, Allah will put in their hearts to come on this day with colorful clothing and sweets and every kind of celebration. I'm telling you, I have not seen Shias grieve on days like these 2 days, the day of Ashura, most grieving day, and then the day of Arba'in. Then they grieve on the martyrdom of Imam Ali, but Ashura and Arba'in. And I told you previously, Arba'in, it's a small ziyarat. What makes it a huge grieving procession, global procession? That's something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same thing, I have not seen Shias celebrate the way they celebrate Eid al-Ghadir, the Eid of Wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. That's Imam Ali and this Fatima al-Zahra. Name of Imam Ali and name of Zahra salamullah alayha. I have not seen the way they celebrate Eid al-Ghadir and Eid al-Zahra. Eid al-Zahra, but the Shias, they are happy. They are glad on this day. What do you think will happen to the heart of Zahra? The way you are glad on the gladness of Zahra salamullah alayha, she is glad on your gladness. So you made this day the day of gladness, because the enemies of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, enemies of Zahra salamullah alayha, were damned on this day. Then, because enemies of Imam Hussein salamullah alayhi, enemies of Zahra salamullah alayha. Zahra, maybe those who hurt Zahra are less in evil in front of Zahra than those who hurt her beloved Imam Hussein alayhi salam and tortured her daughter Zainab alayhi salatu wasalam. So when those people, they bring the head of those people who tortured Imam Hussein and tortured Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayhi and tortured Amir al-Mu'mineen, that is Eid of Zahra. Fatima al-Zahra feels glad on this day. So this is something I wanted to mention. Regardless of whatever reasons you have, it is a miraculous day. Because you've put the glad, you are sad with the sadness of Zahra salamullah alayha, and you're glad with the gladness of Zahra Salamullah alaiha, she is glad with your gladness. And she's participating with you because you grieved on Imam Hussein, her beloved and precious son. So now, when the heads were brought, she was glad. And the same thing is the Shias of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. So especially I'm mentioning this specific. Why do I? Because I see the Shias around the world with colorful gladness. That makes me glad because I know that makes my Fatima Zahra Salamullah alaiha, my master lady of the world, glad. So we are all glad with the gladness of Shias and glad with the gladness of Zahra Salamullah. So my beloved Shias around the world, don't hesitate. If you are not satisfied with the reasons, be satisfied that this is the day Fatima Zahra Salamullah was glad. The ladies of Risalat, they entered Medina, they were relieved, and you can add up on reasons after reasons. But just remember, you want to be part and parcel of the miracle of Zahra Salamullah alaiha. There are so many miracles. Be glad on this day, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you all glad in this world and the world hereafter. Eidukum Mubarak, Khushali Mubarak, happy Eid al-Zahra Salamullahi alayha. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us always on the path of Fatima al-Zahra Salamullahi alayha in this world and with Fatima al-Zahra Salamullah in the hereafter, and bless us the ziyarat of Fatima al-Zahra Salamullah in this world as soon as possible. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. Thank you so much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.